Happy Wednesday. Hi, guys. Make sure my mic is working. Yeah, okay. It looks like it is. Hi, friends. Happy Wednesday. Hey, Michelle and Henny and Margaret and Sherry, Morgana Banana. Hi, guys. Hey, Henny. Donnie, hey, ma'am. How are you? Hi, guys. I gotta fix another cup of coffee soon. Oh, cute, Donnie. Donnie said, perfect timing. Just finished getting my hers cut. Nice. Hey, Spence. Good to see you. Donnie said, it's scary foggy here. Ooh. Margaret said, that's the only way I know what day it is when you tell us. Well, don't depend on me. I mean, sometimes I get it wrong. Hi, guys. We're still in verdict watch. I've been watching this morning. Nothing to show here. Nothing to see. Except a poll. There is a poll in the chat. If you have not voted yet in the poll, make sure you do that, please. Please and thank you. Oh, wait. I just saw the camera bounce. Maybe it was by accident. You did not, Margaret. No, you didn't. You're rotten. Rotten. Spin says, I didn't see much of the trial, but watched the closing statements and wow. I know, right? Wow. It was one of those trials that was like, meh, 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 you know, up and down for me anyway. Did y'all see there's a new trial and Bev is the judge in Massachusetts? Some socialite, New England socialite, is on trial for manslaughter of her husband. It said day 2, though. Did y'all see that? Judge Bev. Judge Bev. Judge Bev. Wow, Crime Cafe voter fraud, Margaret. We have really corrupted you. Ooh, there's a verdict. Someone just said there's a verdict. Oh, is it a bench trial? Aunt Bev, of course, it's some socialite. Bev probably has some stake in the case. You ain't wrong, ma'am. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Y'all, yeah, let's see some Bev's bangs in the chat. Let's see some Bev's bangs in the chat, please, and thank you. Michelle says, Margaret, I blame you being stuck under the fridge with your finger stuck on the vote button. Right. Look, she's pretending that she's going after the Tommy Tippy, but no, in reality, she's like, let me just lay here and click vote on my phone 10 times and pretend I'm stuck under the fridge. Mm-hmm. We know how you are. We know how you are. We do. I just saw it flash across my screen. Somebody said somewhere, I think it was on a Discord server, that who was it? Oh, we have movement. Here we go, folks. Wow, did I really come in just in time? How do I get rid of Margaret? Where did she go? There she is. Okay. It's very readily available, but then I get scrolling and can't find how to get it off there. Ooh, tropical in your apartment. Good gravy. That does not sound fun at all. I'm just saying. Doesn't sound fun. I can't stand tropical. No. Oh.
The third judge of the Circuit Court of Raleigh County is now sitting.
All right. I am advised that the jury has a verdict. All parties are present and the defendant is here. I'll expect no outbursts when I read the verdict one way or another, and I will direct the bailiffs to escort anyone out who violates this directive. Are there any matters that we need to discuss before we bring in the jury and receive the verdict?
Please stay, Your Honor. Thank you.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Bring in the jury.
Oh, my God. Talk about coming in just in time. Man, I really thought it was going to be like all day. Make sure that you vote in the chat. Margaret says she has to be guilty. I voted 18 times. She does look like she's going to vomit. Hey, LaTanya. Good to see you. Hi. Hi and welcome. I did have perfect timing, right? Wow, I couldn't have timed it any better. Oh my God, she looks like she's going to puke. She looks like she's going to Shanda Vander Ark all over the place. Don't Shanda Vander Ark, honey. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't vomit. Can't be having that. Oh, she looks very worried.
Madam Foreperson, has the jury reached a verdict?
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Would you hand that verdict to the bailiff who will transmit it to the court?
Oh my God.
Would the defendant please rise?
I'm nervous.
In the case of State of West Virginia versus Natalie Cochran, case number 23-F-343K, the jury verdict is as follows. We, the jury on the issues, joined unanimously find the following. The defendant is guilty of murder in the first degree. The verdict form is signed by Holly Rich, foreperson of the jury. It is dated 1/29/2025. There are no marks on the portion of the verdict form pertaining to involuntary manslaughter. Does the state wish to examine the jury verdict form?
Very good. Thank you.
Does the defense?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
You may be seated. Is there a request for the court to poll the jury?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right.
He's donezo.
The verdict is received by the court and directed to be recorded. I'll ask the state to prepare an appropriate order in the premises. The court accepts the jury verdict and finds this defendant guilty of murder in the first degree.
Maybe Michelle,
The
I'm not
defense
sure.
will be afforded time to file all appropriate motions. And as we discussed earlier, we must have further proceedings concerning the aspect of mercy. I would like to do that right away, and perhaps to commence this afternoon. I can afford the defense or the state 2 hours to prepare, and we can go directly into the mercy phase.
Your Honor, as we pointed out to the court, we cannot have our witnesses prepared in 2 hours. Specifically, we anticipate calling the children. They are not close by at all. They're in school.
Well, Matthew. No. What? I can hear you.
I've been corrected on that particular point, but we have to get in touch with our other witnesses. It will take considerable time to do that. We have to make sure they can get here, and we respectfully request to continue these proceedings and have the mercy portion sometime tomorrow.
What saith the state, Mr. Truman?
Your Honor, the state's prepared to go forward. We understand the defense situation. If they could proffer a number of witnesses they're going to have, that might be helpful. And if they can't start out today, then we defer to the court's judgment.
All right. Members of the jury, let me explain to you the circumstances. You have found the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree. There is another aspect that you must consider, and that is whether or not to afford to her mercy. If she receives mercy, she will be eligible for parole in 15 years. If she does not receive mercy, she will spend the rest of her life in prison. And that is a decision that you must determine. We must have a mini trial, so to speak, further proceedings for you to hear additional evidence in that regard and make a determination. You will have to return another verdict in regard to that matter. So the upshot of the situation is you are not finished with your responsibilities. And it is perhaps unfair to start into this right away and to force the attorneys to proceed in this very critical and important part of the proceedings. So it is such that we're going to start up at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I hope you'll understand, and I hope that you will continue to be cooperative and patient and considerate and proceed as you have already. You have been here promptly, and you have provided service as jurors in the manner expected and the manner certainly I request. So here's the deal. I must still warn you and admonish you not to read anything, hear anything, talk to anyone about this case. And by anyone, I'm talking about your family members or friends, because tomorrow is another day insofar as you all are concerned. And we will proceed further in regard to the mercy phase of this case. So you're not done, and we need for you to come back. And you may be sad about that, or maybe you're okay with that. I don't see anybody throwing tomatoes at me yet. So hopefully you'll understand we need to finish this out. We have much time invested in it, and we simply need to bring it to a conclusion. And I will need you back in your jury room at 9 a.m. I'll try to have a treat for you as a bribe for you to come back. And please follow my instructions. Don't watch anything on TV or see anything online. Again, for the purpose of this additional phase, I want you to have an open mind and to hear the evidence so you can make this additional determination. I can't tell you anything as to what you must do in regard to mercy, but if you have any questions about the procedure or if you want to curse me, now would be the time to do that. I don't see any curses, and I don't see anybody complaining too much. All right, I will need you back in your jury room tomorrow by 9. Anything further before I let the jury go for the day from the state?
Not for the state, Your Honor.
From the
No, Your
defense.
Honor, thank you.
All right, you may follow the bailiff to your jury room, and I'll see you in the morning at 9 a.m.
No mercy. Yeah.
All right, we will
it's
start up
fun. Yeah.
for the mercy portion of this case in the morning at 9 o'clock. The defense will go forward first, sort of an unusual arrangement. There is no burden of proof. And it's sort of the wild, wild west, more or less. The court will be very lenient in terms of evidence to be presented. The only thing that I'm bound by is rules 401 and 403 of the rules of evidence. 401, of course, relates to relevancy. 403 requires the court to engage in the balancing to make sure that the probative value of any evidence is not outweighed by its prejudicial nature. Other than those restraints, the court can consider prior bad acts. The court can consider character. The court consider habits, almost anything that would be relevant and not unduly prejudicial to the defendant. So you are guided by that instruction, and we will start up for the mini trial in the morning at 9 a.m. Are there any questions or suggestions from the state?
Not for the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Hey,
Court
Kel.
is in recess.
Hey, Kel. Good to see you, baby. She says, hey, everyone, driving to work, so I won't be in chat. Wonder if they're going to let her hug her mom and her kids. Apparently not. Oh, man. I'm not feeling sorry for her, but I'm feeling sorry for her kids. The thing for me is, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right, Michelle? Yeah. And if she were to get the mercy, she could be available for or eligible for parole, he said, in 15 years. So that would be, you know, um, spends the mercy portion. Yeah. It's sort of like Michelle. See, I don't know. I don't know if that would be in if she would have to spend that time if they're what do you call it? The two C word. Yeah, consecutive or concurrent. I don't know. Her poor kids. Yeah, that's the son. Because I remember seeing his hair when he walked in that day. I couldn't see his face, but I saw his hair. Mm. That's heartbreaking, man. Yeah, they've lost both parents. And even if she gets the mercy, they're both going to be in their 30s or 40s by the time she gets out. But still, you know. Spence, the daughter is 19 and the son is 17. Mm. Definitely a shame. Sorry, I'm just watching. Mm-hmm. Yeah, her mom's crying too, Michelle, right? Spins, I'm assuming they're her parents. Michael's parents were sitting on the other side. Um, but I'm assuming that this is her mom and dad. They've been there just about every day, I think. And the kids are sitting in between them, so. She's already in federal prison for 15 years or something like that, so she was already away. If she gets mercy, she won't get much longer. Well, they said that if she gets mercy, she'll have, the judge said, eligibility for parole after 15 years. So I don't know if the 15 years that she would have to spend for this trial is like Michelle said, concurrent or consecutive. I don't know. I'm not sure. No, that's okay, Spins. Will they count what she's already served? That would count towards her federal time to, what she's already served, because what she's serving has served currently is for the federal charges. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll find out more, I'm sure, tomorrow. I mean, kind of eager for tomorrow to see what they decide. Kind of eager. Hold on. Husband's got a question. Hold on. I'm texting him real quick. He's on his lunch break, so he's texting me. Let's see.
Your understanding on that date of September 8th of
That automatically flipped over to the next thing in line, which I was going to ask you all about this. So this Colin Griffith, if I'm not mistaken, is he the one that killed one parent, the other parent got him like out of jail or something, or out on bond, and then killed them? Is that who this is? Let's see. Spin says I should be able to pop in tomorrow at some point too. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. Does anybody know if that's who this Colin Griffith is? Murdered mother months after killing father. Okay. The mother got him, like, I don't know how that worked. If she, like, bonded him out or something. But honestly, I'm like, how do you get somebody out on bond if they've murdered someone? Miss King said killed his father a year ago. He said self-defense or something like that. Then he killed his mom a year later. Okay. Wow. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. Y'all want to, like, listen to I had this rewound, but it didn't. Looks like they got it cut off. I wonder if Court TVs is the same way. Oh, we have one of those court reporters with the mouth thingy. Let me go over here and look at Court TV real quick. Let me go look. Go look. Oh, I gotta pull my keyboard up here. Hold on. Morgana said, wow, that's crazy pants. Right? Michelle said, especially if it was your husband he unalived. Right? But I mean, honestly, though, if the mom felt like it was in self-defense, maybe you know, she was on her son's side. I mean, most moms would be regardless. I don't want to say most moms, but you know what I'm trying to say. LaTanya says, oh, they weren't together, said Miss King. Okay. I didn't know that. LaTanya says, I'm about to go over to that one. Had to let it get some testimony in because it's slow paced. I want to look to see if Court TV is streaming it. It don't look like they are. Okay. Well, let's start this and just kind of see. I wonder. Colin Griffith. Hold on. Wow. That's insanity, man. All right, let's start this. I'll look to see if I could find another stream that caught the beginning of the opening statements, but I don't see anything.
Will not have it. Detective Zanoniani is saying, I mean, all these people have intervened and tried to come up with
Oh,
a
yeah, let me
solution.
close the poll. Duh. Hold on. Let me close the poll, please. Hold on a minute. Hold on, let me let the page load. If you guys haven't clicked the thumbs up button yet, please do so. I would appreciate it. I would love it if you would do that. That would mean a lot. When I have multiple tabs open, it takes forever when I open up my live stream for the comments to load the live chat. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. All right. End a poll. Thank you, LaTanya. I see your comment. She says, I'll do rewatch later to see if you're covering it and we'll be on tomorrow if so. Well, tomorrow I really want to watch the Mercy portion of the Natalie Cochran case. But we got to have something to, move over to once that's done. So we might try to get caught up on this one if we've decided to go with it. I usually like to let the folks in the chat decide which trial we'll do next. Well, What will the jury decide in this case? Oh, wow. 58% of you said guilty. 58%. There should be a 5 after the 7 in the vote tally. Yeah, because you voted 175 times, ma'am. 58%. Wow. Margaret was the 57%. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh my God, Kel. What is his problem? What were you doing to make him flip you off? What? Michelle said, oh, wow, Kel, get away from him before he pulls that. Oof. Goodness, right? Kel said, I don't know what I did, but as long as he feels better. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Lord. Goodness gracious. At first, I didn't care, but every time I got by him, he would flip me off again. It did get my heart pounding, but I'm at work safe. Wow, that's crazy. Weirdo. People are so weird. He said you were number 1, right? Margaret said, I had someone do that and I was dumb enough to start shouting at him. And he looked at me and he said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought you were someone else. Oh, that's so funny. All right. So we got the poll closed. Let's start this up and kind of see what we think. I know LaTanya said that the testimony was a little bit slow paced. I don't know. Maybe we can see. Maybe we can 1.25 it.
Kathy will not have it.
And I don't know if this woman is the defense or the prosecution or what. I guess we're just going to have to kind of assume after we hear her talk for a few minutes.
Somehow, Colin ends up back with Mom, but because he doesn't feel safe, he runs away again, telling everybody I don't feel safe. Law enforcement gets involved again. They find a gun in the home, which Kathy had lied to them about and said, oh no, I gave it to somebody else for safekeeping. Oh no, there's a gun there.
Okay, so this must be his defense attorney.
She also claims that Colin attacked her again to law enforcement. She said he was trying to run away and he battered me. So the sheriff's deputies look at her ring video and they're like, there was no battery.
I don't know,
She tried to step in
Morgana.
front of him and block him from leaving, escaping the situation, and may have brushed by her. That's what she was calling a battery and trying to get him arrested. But then she would have probably demanded that he come back home with her. Needless to say, much chaos. In March, in what I hope is a little bit of positive news in all of this, Colin gets his driver's license and he gets a job at Domino's. And
Oh my
he
God.
did get a car. Kathy didn't buy him the car like she wants everybody to believe. it came from a trust from that existed separate from Kathy. He's still going back and forth between Susan and Kathy, managing to accomplish things as a 17.
So I have to tell you this story real quick. One of my sisters, not Mickey Joe, the other one, forever ago, I don't know how many years it's been. It's been a lot of years. Wintertime, driving, and somebody cut her off or turned in front of her. Something, I don't know what happened. Anyway, she went to flip that person off, but she had mittens on and not gloves. They were mittens. And so she was like, you couldn't see her middle finger. You just saw the whole hand, right? She's like, "Brr." It was one of those after she realized, the effect it didn't, she didn't feel as good as she wanted to feel, because they probably thought she was waving like, hi, but no, she was flipping them off. And so she was like, you know, mm. Anyway. Yeah, that is odd phrasing. Like she's a piece of fish or chicken. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes, Patricia. Yes. I love that. She's a piece of fish or chicken. Miss King says there is. I think it's regarding the state not saving the Sally Port footage. Getting super crazy over there. God, they're wearing me out. Maybe we should start doing the Balky chin flip off. Right? I know. That would have been better with a pair of mittens on. My husband jokingly said once that I assaulted him by accidentally bumping into him. And so our thing is, no, I didn't assault you. I peppered you. That's so cute. Patricia, you're killing me today. Oh my God. I love that. No, I didn't assault you. I peppered you. I'm going to have to tell that to my husband. That is so funny. Patricia is on a roll today. Donnie just got it. I love you, Donnie, so much. That is the cutest, Patricia. No, I didn't assault you. I peppered you. Oh, I love it. Everybody's going to steal that one, Michelle, right? A peppered, trademarked. There we go. A peppered. Cute, 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 cute. Okay. Let's get back to this. Oh my God.
18-year-old, 16, then 17-year-old. And then we get to the end of August, beginning of September of 2024. And you'll see a text from Kathy in the end of August saying to her mom and to other people, I'm going into that dark place again. My therapist thinks I should go to a facility for at least a few days, but she doesn't. September 7th, you heard about the whole bookshelf thing. There was, in fact, an argument over whether Colin would help her put up a bookshelf. And he is not being entirely respectful to her when he says, it'll take too long. I have to go to work. Also, there aren't studs on that wall. If we put it up there, it's going to fall and it's probably going to hurt someone. So did he help her put up the bookshelf? Absolutely not. Should he have? Maybe. But he didn't. And this is Kathy's reaction. And you will hear her words and see her. Get out and don't come back. Even if you're bawling your eyes out. And give me the keys to the house. So Colin.
Okay, so mom has a flip out moment, and are you trying to say that that's a reason enough why he did what he did? Or I don't know.
Colin's gathering things. He goes out the door. You may or may not see her opening the door kind of and then closing it and locking it with his keys to the locked house inside. So Colin, being kicked out again, calls Susan, who is a concurrent guardian. By the way, Colin had been put on probation for the domestic violence battery, and his probation officer's name is Monique. You'll hear about her. And the court had said that even though most of the time you're not allowed to go out of the county when you're on probation, unless you're with a parent, it's okay for Colin to go visit his grandmother in another county. Just got to let Monique know. Okay. So Colin emails Monique, says, I'm going to my grandmother's. Called his grandmother, said, Mom kicked me out. Can I go to your house? She said, sure. She says, I'm in the Keys right now, but I'll be there tomorrow. Okay. So it wasn't like he was secretly going to this place where he can have a rager. This is something that has happened multiple times. So he drives to Polk County, and you'll hear from the neighbors that his car got there on Saturday and did not move. So meanwhile, Kathy is getting worked up, to say the least, angry. I think one detective may describe her as manic. She starts in the early morning hours of Sunday the 8th, making repeated calls to Susan and to Colin, and will beg, plead, yell, cuss, call people names. She calls her mom a fucking moron. She is all over the place, insisting that Colin come back home. But at the same time, she'd say, I reported the car stolen because the car is not in your name. It's in both our names, and you're not allowed to drive that car. But you better get in that car and come right back home. But wait, I took money out of your bank account, so you can't even afford to put gas in it, but you better come back home. Get in that car and come back home. I'm going to sell the car. I sold the car. I'm already up in Auburndale. I found a buyer whose aunt lives in that community and who gave me the gate code so I could come into the neighborhood in Auburndale, and I couldn't see the car at Susan's house. You're in big trouble because I already sold that car. She was nowhere near Auburndale. You'll see the ring video. She was at her home. But she made up this elaborate story about having gone to Auburndale, gotten the gate code from the buyer's aunt, and going in and not seeing the car when the neighbors were like, the car never left. she is doing everything she can to get Colin to come home. She calls law enforcement, Detective Zanoniani and Corporal Rentis. There's no secret that Colin is in Auburndale and that his grandmother has okayed it. It's okay with his probation officer. Everybody tells Kathy, let him stay in Auburndale. Let him stay in Auburndale. Let him stay in Auburndale. Kathy claims on one of her phone calls that the police gave her 24 hours of Colin being gone until she was going to get in trouble for him being a runaway. No. You'll read her texts, you'll listen to her messages. Despite everyone telling her, let Colin stay in Auburndale, she wasn't having it. She was the one who was angry. You'll hear Colin's voice when she says, are you coming home or not? No. Which is what law enforcement, Susan, everybody recommended, is that he don't go home. She went to him. She went to where he was safe. And the neighbors that you heard about will tell you that she came in hot and angry, that she sped into this quiet 55 and older community, whipped her car into the driveway, whipped it back out, pulled in front of the house, got out, slammed the door, and marched up to the carport door. Colin was never in the yard where her earbud was.
Let me read this real quick. I just found this on the law and crime on the description. Do they have it, Miss King? I looked for it, but I didn't see it. So 17-year-old Colin Griffith is accused of killing his mother, Catherine Griffith, after the two allegedly got in a fight in September of 2024. So this was just very recent. 4 months ago? Is that right? Colin Griffith told investigators his mother came at him with a knife and she fell on it, forcing a fatal stab wound, but detectives say the teen really murdered her. In 2023, Griffith confessed to killing his father in Oklahoma in what he claimed was self-defense. He was originally arrested for his father's death, but those charges got dropped. Wow. Okay. Oh, you searched opening statement. Okay, let me go look. Oh, I see it. It wasn't under live. It was under regular videos. Oh, crap. It's loud. Loud. Okay. Well, we'll watch that after we watch the rest of the prosecution. So it'll be backwards, but that's okay. Thank you, Miss King, for letting me know, because I wouldn't have found it because I was looking under their live tab. So right, awfully coincidental, right? I know. Okay. Here we go.
She went up to the house and went in the house angry. Within a few minutes, Kathy comes back out of the house, unlocks Colin's car, and starts throwing all of his stuff into it. And then after she's done throwing his stuff into it, you'll hear the neighbors say that she was yelling and shaking her fist, and it looked like she was the one who was being aggressive, and that Colin was standing in the doorway. So there's a door that goes into the living room and out to the carport, and that he was standing in the doorway. And when she comes up and you'll hear varying terms. You'll hear that he put his hand on her shoulder by where her ponytail was and kind of brought her inside. I don't know that you'll hear a neighbor say that he dragged her from the yard by her ponytail, by her hair. They will say that they heard her yelling. You can evaluate whether you think Colin was doing anything at that point to harm her. That's going to be part of your decision. Or if you think he was trying to avoid her making a scene in the community where teenagers aren't supposed to be living, you'll hear from the neighbors that they had seen Colin there before. He was never a problem. He would visit Susan because, like I said, he went back and forth, but they had never seen Kathy there before, ever. So Kathy and Colin go back into the house, and it's about an hour later that Colin calls 911, crying, upset, saying, "We got in a long fight. My mother's bleeding out. Please send someone right away." The 911 operator explains how to do CPR, tells him to move her, to lay her on her back to be able to do CPR. You'll hear him doing CPR on her while counting with the 911 operator. And intermittently, he'll say, "Just send someone. She's not bleeding anymore." And when first responders get there, she was already dead.
I don't know, Miss King.
What
I don't
you're
know.
going to have to decide at the end of all this and by the way, Colin has wounds too, is whether the state has proved to you beyond a reasonable doubt that what they claim happened, that Colin somehow planned this, he's been plotting it for months, that he murdered and dragged his mom into the house that she went to where he was safe to kill her, or whether what Colin had been saying he was afraid would happen and that had happened in the past actually was what occurred. That his mom came to him, went into the house where he was safe, and attacked him, and he had to defend himself. And that he is not guilty of the murder or the kidnapping of his mother.
Thank you, Ms. Thornton. All right, folks, it's almost 10:30. We'll take our mid-morning recess of about 15 minutes. Remember not to discuss the case among
Kidnapping.
yourselves.
I
or
missed
leave
that
anything
part.
out. Please leave your notepads in the chairs.
All rise.
Kidnapping. I missed that part. I did get up for a brief second to help kiddo, but yeah, I missed the kidnapping part. Did anybody hear that? What that was about? What? Kidnapping? I don't know what that was about. My children are being the most right now. Let's switch. Hold on. Okay. Well, hold on. I have completely messed things up here. Hold on. Okay, there it is. All right. So, this is the opening. Thank you again, Miss King. She's going to sit in here, kiddo, for a little bit. She's wanting Poppy to go play with her in the living room, but Poppy is in here under the blankets in the bedroom, and she's trying to lure Poppy out from under the blanket. It ain't going to work, kid. She's whispering, Poppy. Oh, okay, Kel. Good to know. She said food poisoning update. The sausage I cooked came packaged as fully cooked. So I do think it was Wendy's. What did you have for dinner last night? So we ended up having chicken parmesan. I think we're having the jambalaya tonight. Hold on a second, please. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, we had chicken parmesan last night, jambalaya tonight. Either jambalaya or gumbo, one or the other. I don't know which. A braided chicken casserole. That sounds fancy pantsy. That sounds fancy pantsy. Because he dragged her in the house, I think. Okay. If I move my dog into another room against his will, I'm kidnapping him. LOL. Well, I mean, old recipe from Pampered Chef days. I gotcha. Yeah. I got it. I understand. Sounds good though. All right, let's start this and see. This is the opening statements for the prosecution. Thank you again, Miss King, for finding it for me, ma'am. Thank you so much.
It was a Sunday evening, September 8th of last year, in Auburndale, Florida. And it was at that time that the defendant viciously and savagely unleashed his full fury and hatred towards his mother upon her, when he stabbed her with such force that the knife went shooting through her neck muscles, through her esophagus, through her trachea, through her thyroid cartilage, and shot out the other side of her neck. You will hear and see that as this happened, she began to bleed and bleed profusely through the huge gash in her neck. While she bled, the defendant was there and watched as the blood came out of the huge hole in her neck. You're going to hear that he was there as he watched the blood and the life drain from her body.
Okay, dude.
Until she took her final breath and was officially dead.
I understand you're trying to make a point here that it was graphic and gruesome and gross and all the things, but man, does he like to use adjectives and I mean, trigger warning all over the place. Trigger warning all over the place. I know, he does, Michelle, right? Sounds like he's narrating a Halloween murder movie. Golly, gee whiz, willikers. Okay, so... And we know what kind of a prosecutor he's going to be. All right, let's continue. If you can't stay and hang out, I completely understand your reason why.
You're also going to hear that this was exactly what the defendant meant to do, and that this is exactly what the defendant had thought about doing and had wanted to do for quite some time. So much so that he told multiple people, including multiple Charlotte County Sheriff's Office deputies.
I have to say, though, his beard is on point.
And his own grandfather, the father of the defendant's mother, Kathy Griffith. His name's Robert Willantis. You're going to hear from him. He'll fly in from New Mexico, and he'll...
Pretty woman. Pretty woman. Sad. 39 years old at the time of her death. Mother of the defendant, found in the kitchen with deep neck wound.
He'll tell you about those haunting statements that the defendant made. And you're going to see that exactly what the defendant said he wanted to do and said that he would do, he accomplished on the night of September 8th of last year. But how did Kathy Griffith get there bleeding out on her mother's kitchen floor? In order to understand that, we're going to have to take a step back and take a walk through some time. So you're going to see, of course, not just what happened on and around September 7th and September 8th, some of the critical time leading up to the murder, but you're also going to see and hear how this all began. Now, we're going to take a trip back to February 14th of 2023, the year prior to the defendant killing his mom. At that time, the defendant lived in Oklahoma. And you're going to hear on February 14th of 2023, the defendant killed somebody else when he shot that person 2 times. He shot that person in the chest, and he shot that person in the head. You're going to hear that it was undisputed that he shot that person, that he was arrested for that killing, and that he has not been charged to this date. Now, after that killing, ladies and gentlemen, the defendant, as a little bit of time progressed, he moved back to Florida. He had been living with his dad for a number of years in Oklahoma, approximately 3 years or so. While he was living in Oklahoma with his dad, his mom lived in Florida in some different places, but including Port Charlotte most recently. And you're going to hear that while the defendant lived with his dad, the mom, as any mom would, greatly missed her son. And she didn't get an opportunity for different reasons, including a very controlling dad that the defendant was living with. So Kathy Griffith basically didn't have much contact with her son, not because she didn't want to, but she would try to call him and talk to him, and it pained her greatly that her son was not with her. You're going to hear that there's another brother, an older brother. He really doesn't have much to do with this case, but nonetheless, there was an older brother who lived with his mom, Kathy, for a period of time before he moved out of the house when he was old enough. So as the defendant moves to Florida, his mom...
So wait, we won't hear much about the older brother, or I wonder if we'll hear from the older brother, like if he'll testify.
wanted to make up for lost time. That was 3 years, 3 critical years of her life and his life when they didn't do mother-son things. They didn't spend time together. They didn't have all those opportunities that maybe other kids and other parents had.
So he watched the blood and life drain from his mother.
Ugh, hold on. Hmm.
To hit the pause button, you're not going to miss anything coming up, but we're going to head back to Florida.
Okay, let me scooch on through.
Kathy, the defendant's mom, tried to make up for lost time. And she took her son on multiple vacations. They took cruises. They went to Disney World. They traveled out of the country. They went to Washington, D.C. And she spent all her time and affection and money on the defendant. That was her son. And that's who she had missed for all those years. Now, was Kathy Griffith the perfect parent? No. Was she the perfect person? No. But nobody is. But you're going to hear that she gave everything that she had, including her life, to try to take care of the defendant and spend as much time as she could with him, even at the cost of her life, which ultimately is what happened. Now, as the defendant and his mom lived in Charlotte County.
Oh, Lord. See where there it says witness being dragged into the home by her hair before the fatal stabbing. Oh, my God.
In Port Charlotte. They lived in a house, a well-kept house. It was the two of them. And they did plenty of things together. Like I said, they went on vacations. They went to the movies. They hung out. It was just the two of them. So they had nothing but basically one-on-one time. And you're going to hear that Kathy Griffith, like any mom, expected certain things. These weren't off-the-wall, dictator-like things. These were simple things that she thought would be appropriate to teach her son about responsibility and respect. Chores, minimal chores, such as weed whack in the backyard, taking trash and food or candy out of his room, helping her around the house with whatever little odd jobs might happen. But you're going to see in here, the defendant wanted nothing of that. He didn't want to be inconvenienced. He didn't respect his mom. He didn't care about his mom. And wherever this deep-seated anger and hatred came from, it was real within him. And he told people about it. So as the days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months, his anger, as you'll see, was building and building.
Judge, I'm going to object to this being argumentative.
As the time went on, you'll see that the mom had to deal with a lot of issues, including being attacked by her own son. You'll hear a little bit about the defendant being arrested at a certain point for domestic violence battery. He was a juvenile, as he still is a juvenile. And you'll hear that he was put on some probation. But in essence, he was not happy with his mom. So he took her down on the ground and stomped on her hand. But they continued to live together. The mom, you'll hear, was afraid of the defendant and what ultimately might happen to her. And she was afraid he would kill her. But she loved him. And you're going to hear that she wanted to be with him. And she was cognizant of the fact that when he turned 18, he was probably going to leave the house. And that would, for all intents and purposes, end that one-on-one time. And he would continue on with his life however he saw fit. So it wasn't like every day was chaos or bedlam in the house, but the defendant had issues, the mom had some issues, but they were working through them. Now, sometimes they would go to the movies together, sometimes there would be good days, and you're going to actually get to see kind of like an inside peek of some time on September 7th and September 8th, the day that the defendant killed his mom. You're going to see that in the form of Ring camera footage that Kathy had set up inside because she was so afraid of what her son might do to her. And you're going to see that there was cameras set up in different parts that basically captured the same or similar things. But you're going to get to see some footage from a kitchen camera that captures the kitchen as well as into the living room. So you're not going to have to sit through 48 hours or 72 hours of just nothing happening. But you're going to see some clips so you can kind of tell what the vibe was on those last 2 days of Kathy's life. You're also going to get to be able to see the timeline as it continues. We talked a little bit about jury selection, about a timeline, because nothing happens in a vacuum. So as the defendant's living with his mom, he starts making these statements that he wants to kill his mom. And that if he has to go back to his mom, he's going to kill her or do her harm or do himself harm. And he tries to make accusations against his mom that you'll see she was never arrested for anything as it pertains to the defendant. But nonetheless, he starts telling detectives, he starts telling deputies. And so the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office has different units, as does a lot of law enforcement agencies. And you'll hear that they took a proactive approach because they didn't want to see anything bad happen to the defendant, and they didn't want to see anything bad happen to the mom. So you'll hear that there were multiple deputies and detectives that would check in on the family, would check in on mom, would check in on the defendant. And their goal was to try to ensure that both parties got along and that, of course, they lived long, happy lives together. It didn't work out that way, not from a lack of their trying. So as the year continues, the defendant, as I mentioned, got arrested for the domestic violence battery. He got Baker acted a time or two. And when he would be about to be released, he would make statements. He would say he didn't want to go with his mom. If he went with his mom, he was afraid of what might happen, of his anger, that he would kill his mom. He also made statements that he was afraid that she would do something to him. But the reoccurring theme that you will hear from the witnesses from the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office is that the defendant verbalized what he ultimately did, which is that he would kill his mom. You'll hear from one or more deputies that even asked him, well, how are you going to do that? And he specifically mentioned, sometimes he would mention different things like shoot or stab, but a reoccurring theme was he would mention that he would stab his mom. So the intervention continued with the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. They would talk to both Kathy on the phone, the defendant on the phone. They were accessible. They would call and check in. They would stop by the house and talk. And the defendant and his mom independently, they had the ability to call the deputies and the detectives as well. Now, 2024, around February 19th or so, around that time, or perhaps a little bit earlier, the defendant sent a text message. He had many communications with an attorney that was
I'm going to object based on we don't know if this is going to be admissible.
Approach.
All right, well, they approach for that bench conference. This is a good time to bring in my guest, Randall. Here's the murder of his mother.
I'm in a constant state of fight or flight, and I don't know. If I think she's gonna do something, even if she's not, I might act. I'm not gonna like go crazy or anything, but I'm not sure, honestly.
Okay. You're not sure if you're gonna hurt?
Only if she tries to hurt me.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. This morning, we are in the state of
Ladies and gentlemen, continuing on to some of the statements that the defendant made.
Okay, well, that was a little telling. What was that? Like a were the cops called, prior? Miss King says, why would they send him to her, and why would she live or be with her? He has said he wanted to kill her. Right? I know. Hey, Billy. Good morning to you, doll. Good morning to you.
That explicitly forecasted what he did on September 8th of 2024. I mentioned the name Robert Willantis. Robert Willantis, as you'll hear, was Kathy Griffith's father. He's the maternal grandfather of the defendant. You're going to hear that Robert Willantis, of course, had a relationship with his grandson, loved his grandson, cared about his grandson, and still does. And the defendant told him something that was super, super disturbing, to say the least. You will hear from Robert Willantis that the defendant said to him that he wanted to kill his mom and how he was going to do it. And the defendant said, more than anything else, I want to slit her throat and feel her bleed out and feel the life leave her body. That's how much I hate her. You're going to hear that Mr. Willantis, needless to say, was absolutely shocked. And he told his grandson, that's sick, that's twisted, you can't do that. You and your mom have issues, and you're going to need to work through those issues.
Okay, so one statement like that, it would just take one time for me to put my child in somewhere for intervention, at least. What?
September 7th of last year. The morning started with Kathy buying her son, or letting him use her credit card to buy Starbucks. Bought a couple drinks, a breakfast sandwich, and the defendant came home. And this is going to be some of the ring footage that you see. So you'll be able to see some of these interactions. And you're going to see the mom and the son, and some about how they're talking to each other and kind of what happened that day. The mom had minimal requests of the defendant. On that specific day, she wanted her son to help her put up a bookshelf. The defendant didn't want to be bothered. The mom wanted her son to weed whack the backyard. The defendant didn't want to be bothered. The mom wanted her son to clean up the food and the candy that was in his room, attracting ants, but the son didn't want to be bothered. You'll see that he had his Starbucks, he had his sandwich, he wanted to do what he wanted to do, which was he wanted to take a walk, get out of the house and exercise. So the end of the day, or sometime during the day, the end result is that the mom got fed up with him. Kathy was sick and tired of being disrespected, sick and tired of doing everything for her son, and basically told him, get out until you can show me some respect. Well, the defendant had no problem with that, because he just wanted to do what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it. So he went to his grandma's house. So that's how the defendant and his mom in Port Charlotte, Charlotte County, how their lives come to Polk County. Because the defendant's grandmother, who is Kathy's mom, her name is Susan Detman. Her and Robert Willantis used to be married back in the day. She had multiple houses, one in the Keys, one in Auburndale, and perhaps one somewhere else too. So the defendant got in his car. It was a nice Volkswagen black four-door. You'll hear and see that the mom had a white four-door Volkswagen. And the defendant thought the defendant drove to his grandma's house in Auburndale. And you'll see in here at his grandma's house, he didn't have to put up with his mom asking him to do things or to be respectful or to do chores. You also hear that during the relationship between Kathy and her son, she got him video games. She got him a phone. She let him use her credit card to fill up, and use his bank card to fill up.
So it sounds like he was semi-spoiled. But it honestly, at this point, sounds like he had some severe mental illness that was left unchecked.
Gas.
I mean, is it just me, or?
She provided food. Of course, she provided shelter, clothes. I mean, the basic necessities, but she did more than that. The defendant you're going to hear and see is a very smart individual. He was in high school and was, I believe, taking college courses and had an interest in the law. And you're going to see that he was a fairly smart individual, and he would use that knowledge to try to do certain things. So on September 7th, the defendant leaves. The mom is at home, and the mom's angry. She's not happy. Does she want to hurt Colin or kill him or do anything to him? No. She's mad because she knows that her time with her son is slipping away. He's 17 years old by now. Incidentally, he was almost 16 when he killed the individual in Oklahoma. Now he's 17 years old on September 7th and September 8th. So mom is not happy because he's disrespecting her. He's not doing the chores. She's busting her rear end doing everything for this kid who's ungrateful, and she's mad. But nonetheless, she wants him home. She doesn't want him with her mom. She doesn't want him out running the streets or not knowing where he is. So she continually texts him and calls him. Her only desire is to get him home, not to be mad at him or hurt him or ground him. She's willing basically to bend over backwards, as you'll see from the evidence, to just be with him. That's what she wants, is just time with him. You're going to get to see through text messages between her and him, her state of mind and what was going on. And the defendant was basically just blowing her off. He didn't want to be aggravated. But you're going to see kind of the mom was frantic. And once again, frantic in terms of being a mom and wanting to know where her son was and wanting her son back in her house. So she started to give him ultimatums, things that she wasn't going to follow through on. Some of the things. She was hoping not to have to follow through on any of these things. But you're going to see that she was saying, if you don't come home, I'm going to sell your car. If you don't come home, I'm going to cancel your insurance. I'm going to turn off your phone. And she would turn off the phone that she provided for him multiple times. She would turn off his phone. She would take away his computer. All things that she bought. She bought him a computer for his school. She bought him a phone because, of course, that's what parents do. And you'll see when you're a child, you can't get a cell phone with AT&T or have an account with AT&T if you're not 18 or older. So he was relying upon his mom, and happy to do so, because she made sure that he had everything that he wanted. So she was saying these things because basically she was hoping that he would be afraid of them and would come home, but he could care less, as you'll see. But then the Oklahoma killing resurfaces. And you're going to see that besides just pure anger and hatred towards his mom, that his motive, an additional motive for killing her, was what she texted him. Because he was concerned that Oklahoma killing was going to come back around. Of course, it was still under investigation and still is, but that was going to be reopened. And you're going to see firsthand why the defendant didn't want that to happen and why that just infuriated him even more towards a mom that he hated and couldn't stand for no good reason.
17, Donnie.
You're going to see firsthand that Kathy texted her son between 12 and 12:29, and he received it. And she texted him, Colin, the recordings of you admitting to killing, and then she stated who it was, and planning the murder, there are 4 different instances from my Ring camera, are all going to Bob, Susie, Amanda, and Chris at 3 p.m. today. And mind you, this is the day that he murders her, shortly thereafter. She continues on, plus the recovered audio from Chuck's iCloud. Chuck is the defendant's father, Kathy's ex-husband. So Kathy continues on, plus the recovered audio from Chuck's iCloud where you told your dad you hated me and I was an evil bitch are being sent too. My dad is sending me his recordings of you telling him how you planned my murder back in February. Audio, video, emails, texts, and phone records are all being sent. For the record, no, you cannot have a single one. Your attorney can request them. She continues on.
Oh my
All
God.
because you didn't want to help me.
These are powerful words from that prosecutor.
Whoa.
Shot his own father. Now stands accused for the murder of his mother.
I'm not a psychopath. Not this murder.
Was it an argument that led to a tragic accident?
Or a fit of rage that ended in cold-blooded murder.
Everybody that's special to him in his life is dead. The deadly son murdered Friday.
Accused of was ruled self-defense.
Nutso, man. Nutso. This has about 13 minutes left. I have to go on what am I trying to say? My brain fog. Kiddo has math class in about 5 minutes. So, I think what I'm going to do is, because this video was initially, scheduled to be the verdict watch, which we got the verdict in Natalie Cochran in like record time. Wow. This ladybug is driving me crazy. Look. See the ladybug? Climbing on my hand lotion. And it keeps like flying off, and it looks like it's going to like fly into my face any second. She's just hanging out right there on my bottle of lotion. Cute little ladybug. Anyway, her math class starts in about 5 minutes. So I think because the verdict watch is done, I think what I might do is come back after her class is over with stream number 2. And maybe watch some more of this. Maybe watch openings or get some more information on that other trial that's going on, that socialite one from Judge Bev over in Massachusetts. And I don't know, kind of see what we want to do later. I would say she was terrified of him, Donnie, right? Donnie said she was probably afraid of him too. I would say I put money on it that she was terrified. She probably slept with her bedroom door shut and a knife under her pillow. I would have at that point. But And if he was underage, like, I don't know how the whole Baker Act thing works, but I mean, if he's underage, I don't know. Right, Miss King, why bring him home? He should have been in a facility somewhere. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. You guys have a good little intermission time. Watch for stream number 2. I will get that ready well, I'll get it ready, but I'll plan on being live maybe around 2 Eastern time. So he did. I know. All right, make sure to hit the thumbs up on this video before you leave. Subscribe if you're new. Click the notification bell so you get notified when we go live again. Hashtag replay in the comments if you're watching this later. And I'll see you in about an hour or so with stream number 2. Okay? I might call it something like court hopping or trial peeping, something like that. Okay? Love you guys. Mean it. And I'll see you soon. Bye.